is August the 24th, Monday, 7:41 p.m. Central Time. Another Science Alert article. I think I'm going to start going in a bit of a different direction with some of these articles that I read and the videos that I produce, because such as this article, I think this article will help a lot of people. So I'm probably going to start diversifying a bit more. I also have a few Spanish articles. I might put them on a separate channel, or maybe I'll put them on this one. But I find this article interesting as well. I say that on like every article, right? I usually only read it if I find it interesting. I'm going to have some water really quick. I have some carbonated water. So, once again, the section at sciencealert.com is politics and society. How to work out if you're sick. How to work out if your sick leave will cover you in a U.S. coronavirus outbreak. So basically, how to work from home if you have some stipulation in your sick leave policy at your job that allows you to stay home during a pandemic. So we see the photo of someone working in a call center, and he looks like he's ready to go home. I've had that face in front of a computer before with the headset on. So I know he looks like he's really ready to go home. All right. So it looks like the picture was posted by WPA Pool and Getty Images. I will say I like the setup. It's very open. Usually when I've worked in call centers in the past, I don't anymore and I never will again. But when I did in the past, I usually worked in like a cubicle setting. And then they started doing this thing where they would have like 4 people in like a large cubicle. We'd be turned in all different directions. Anyway, into the article. How to work out if your sick leave will cover you in a U.S. coronavirus outbreak. Written or published by Elizabeth Tippett. The conversation looks like the date of publishing was March the 10th of 2020. It is August now, so I'm assuming this information is still valid. In the coming weeks and months, an outbreak of COVID-19 in the United States could leave workers scrambling to figure out what happens to their job and their pay if the new coronavirus prevents them from reporting to work. The answer will depend on your employer's policy, the laws of your state, and the reason you will be away. Elizabeth Tippett, who has spent over a dozen years as a workplace lawyer and scholar, offers a primer. Number 1. Can I take time off if I get sick with coronavirus? The first thing to do is figure out whether your company has a sick leave policy. Sick leave allows you to be paid while you are away from work due to illness. Sometimes companies have a paid time off policy instead of a sick leave policy, in which vacation is combined with sick leave into a bank of time that can be used for either purpose. Many sick leave policies are structured to accrue sick leave over time. For example, 1 hour of sick time for every 30 hours worked. These hours might roll over from year to year and be capped once you reach a maximum amount. Other times, companies have a lump sum policy where they award you a fixed amount of sick leave that you can use over the course of the year. However, not every company has a sick policy. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that roughly a quarter of workers have no access to paid sick leave. Wow, I didn't know that. Still, it's worth checking whether your workplace is required to offer sick leave under state or local law. Around 10 states and many additional municipalities mandate paid sick leave policies. There is no federal law requiring sick leave, though a bill to do that was recently reintroduced in Congress. That's interesting to me that there is no federal law requiring sick leave for most companies. I find that very interesting because who hasn't been sick at some point in time? Number 2. Can I take time off to care for a family member with coronavirus? Here, too, you'll want to check your company's sick leave policy. Many policies allow workers to use sick time to care for family members that are ill. State sick leave laws frequently require that employers permit workers to use accrued sick leave for caring for family members. Number 3, can I take time off if my child's school is closed? A few states and municipalities, including Michigan, New Jersey, San Diego, and Chicago, anticipated a problem like school closures due to a public health crisis and specifically said sick leave can be used in the event of such emergencies. In those states and cities, your employer's policy should conform to that language. Elsewhere, employers tend to design their sick leave policies around more routine absences and may not include school closures in their policies. Now, I have an update for you guys on this, of course. As we know, the majority of schools have now been closed. Remember, this article was written or published around March the 10th of this year. Now in August, pretty much, many months later, now most of the schools are closed. A few weeks ago in the United States, they were opening a lot of middle schools, elementary schools, and things like that, and high schools. And a lot of those kids were catching coronavirus like wildfire right away. So I'm pretty sure I'm hoping they're shutting a lot of those schools down again. I think it's very unsafe for children, especially because, children have weak immune systems. They get sick all the time. I've known some kids that had a cold and looked like for 2 years just, going back and forth to school with kids that keep a cold. So I think virtual learning is definitely the move. This is not a time to have kids in school or, any major groups. And, public school is usually 30, 40 kids a classroom. Some days it's 60 kids in a classroom if one teacher's not there or something. All right, so let's hop on down to number 4. What if I run out of sick time? State and municipal sick leave laws generally require only that employers provide a very modest amount of sick time, typically between 1 and 2 weeks per year. And if you just started a new job in recent months, you may not have accrued much sick time. If you have accrued vacation time, you may be able to use that once your sick leave runs out. Alternatively, sometimes companies officially or unofficially let workers take additional time off on an unpaid basis. You know what though? That's not quite as good as time off on a paid basis for the workers anyway. It's great for the employer because they don't have to pay you while you're home during a pandemic. If you've used up your sick leave, you could also try asking if you can have a negative sick leave balance. I didn't think about that. In which you are essentially borrowing from future sick pay accruals, allowing you to continue to receive pay for a limited period of time. That's not a bad idea. If you or a family member becomes seriously ill, you might be eligible for up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave under the Federal Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA. I was going to mention that to you guys. Since they brought it up, I might as well go ahead and mention it. FMLA is something you can apply for. You can apply for if you have migraines, back issues, just like certain types of ongoing medical issues. So if you I think it's metatarsal syndrome. I forgot. It's some just different somewhat or disabilities that a person might have, or different issues or ailments that a person might have. You can apply for FMLA. FMLA is not Social Security disability, but it does allow you to keep your job and not be fired. It allows you to be able to call out on the days where whatever ailment you have is creating a problem that's going to decrease the quality and the quantity of work that you do. So for instance, if a person does not have FMLA and they have migraines and they call out often and all of their sick time is used up, all of their personal days are used up, all of their emergency days are used up, a person can go to the HR office or to their job and say they want to apply for FMLA. Then they usually give you paperwork. You take it to your doctor who, confirms everything. They confirm you do have migraines. So now you don't have to wait until there's new emergency time or a new accrual of sick time or leave. Now you can actually leave the job at any point in time without, you have to tell your, manager or supervisor or whoever that you are leaving. You have to get the you have to get the approval to leave, but you do not have to tell them why you're leaving. So if you got migraines, you just let them know, listen, I need to leave. I need to take 4 hours FMLA. I need 8 hours FMLA today. I need 10 hours FMLA today. And FMLA protects you from being fired while you're out. So whether or not you're getting paid or you're not getting paid, FMLA helps you to keep your job. So for those of you who don't have disability, who are still working, you may definitely want to check into your work's FMLA policy as far as coronavirus goes. All right, let's move forward. This leave, talking about FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act, this leave is available only for workers at companies with more than 50 employees and who have worked there for 12 months or longer. The regulations for the Family and Medical Leave Act state that the flu is generally not considered a serious enough condition to qualify for leave unless inpatient hospital care is required or unless complications develop. That's quite alarming because we all know how contagious the flu is, right? So that definitely is a condition that I would consider serious enough for you to be away from work. I would not want to be at work. I just had like a what's that word called? A deja vu of me reading this and having this discussion before, even though this is the first time I've done it. Anyway, back to the article. So, the regulations for the Family and Medical Leave Act state that the flu is generally not considered a serious enough condition to qualify for leave unless inpatient hospital care is required or unless complications develop. Some states like California and New York also have family and medical leave laws that cover a broader range of employees and may provide partial pay. However, these generally require that the employee or the ill family member develop a serious health condition beyond your average flu symptoms. Number 5, can I stay home if I'm worried about catching COVID-19 from coworkers? That is a big one. That is really a big one because you don't know what other people are doing. For instance, I know a guy. He called me the other day. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? You know, blah blah blah," and he sends me a picture. He's on the soccer field with a bunch of other guys. They're wearing masks, but they're playing soccer. Soccer is a heavy contact sport. You know what I mean? So it's like you're out here playing soccer, and you know they're gonna take the mask off because sometimes walking with the mask impedes your breathing. Just having the mask on. So running up and down a soccer field, you're definitely gonna take that mask off. Moving on. Tech companies with hubs in Seattle area have responded to a coronavirus outbreak in the state by advising or allowing employees to work remotely. I think that's the best thing. Actually, I think that's the only option this day and age. Some state and municipal sick leave laws authorize employees to use sick leave in the event of closure of an employee's place of business in a public health emergency. Otherwise, your best option is to check whether the company has a telecommuting policy that allows remote work. Even so, such policies generally give the company discretion whether remote work is compatible with your job and the needs of the company. Failing that, you could try using up any vacation time you've accrued, but with tourist hotspots, sporting events, and festivals shutting down, it may not be much of a holiday. Okay, wow. Yeah, this article, even though I'm reading it late, is still in full effect today. You guys, those of you who are still working, you definitely want to find your handbook, find out the policies and procedures of your job. You need to be looking up FMLA. You need to be finding out all of the policies about sick leave, vacation, emergency time, personal days. And I would also suggest looking into your disability and long-term disabled and short-term disabled claims just in case. So if anything were to occur, you already know your rights, you know your options, and you know the opportunities. All right, you guys, I think this is a very important article at this day and time. I'm probably going to start doing more articles like this because it's, speaking of what's going on. All right. So, of course, it's, great to speak with you guys again. You can always make response videos, respond to me in the comments, give a like if you like it. So anyway, it's great to speak with you guys again. Have a good day.